Hey guys, welcome to Red May. I think we're day 4 now. May the 4th be with you. I've got Rob with me today. I'm in his shop and we are talking about comfort on the bike. So some important considerations if you're bringing out your rusty bike out from the garage or you're even getting a new bike, there's some things that you should consider that probably most of us don't. And so the points we're going to touch on today are your contacts with the bike, your hands, your butt, and your feet. So Rob, why don't you take it away and tell me a little bit about what would help me be a bit more comfortable on my bike?
Sure. One of the first things everyone who comes into the bike shop always asks is, I want a nice, big, wide saddle, which we do sell. But that's not your answer if you want to start doing any sort of distance. It's really comfortable for the first 10K.
Right.
And then after that, there's saddles that take over in comfort. That is the saddle that's going to be the most comfortable for your first 100. So.
Right. And so most people are going to look at that saddle, Rob, and they're going to be like, I don't want something like that. It feels really hard and there's not a lot of space on there. How am I going to put my butt on there?
Right. That's for an advanced rider who's in a more advanced riding position where their butt is level with their hands.
Right.
So when you're riding, your back's parallel with the ground and you really only have 50% of your weight on here, 50% of your weight's on your hands.
Right.
So you can go with a more minimalist saddle like that. Most people who are riding are going to be doing somewhere between the 10 and 100K.
Right.
And this is the kind of saddle that you go for. So it's not a big wide one. It is fairly thick.
Yeah, it looks like it's got some cushion in it, like maybe gel or something like that.
The difference with a saddle like this is most saddles start out with a hard piece of plastic and then foam and then leather.
Right.
This one never actually has the hard piece of plastic. The entire
it's pretty
saddle
flexible.
suspended.
Right.
Yeah, so it's definitely, that's our most comfortable saddle.
Right, so that's on the bike, and now talking about stuff that you are going to have on yourself. I believe there's something called a chamois. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's how what I've called it. Can you tell me a little bit about this piece you've got in front of me?
You're right on the pronunciation, but the spelling is really weird. So
yeah.
lots of people come in looking for a chamois, and that's not what this is. But basically, it's a padded short.
Right.
So while your saddle provides padding for everywhere, this is providing padding always where you need it to be.
Right.
So the real place you really need padding is underneath the two bones, because for most people, the rest of the butt is already padded.
Right, so that's on your sit bones.
Right.
Yeah. And so everyone's going to be a slightly different, yeah. They aren't. There is a technical name that you don't need to know. And so those are anatomically correct too, right? Like there's male and
they're
female.
male and female specific, and they start anywhere from about $60. This is an $80 chamois.
Right.
120, 200.
Yeah, these are things definitely that you can get up in price, but expect to pay a little bit. This comfort is really important, and it will actually make a big difference, not only in like how you're going to experience the ride, but how you're going to feel after. Believe me, I've sat on a bad seat before for over 100K, and I felt it for days after. So it does make a huge difference.
Yeah, not good. And then the chamois, because it's tight fitting, will actually rub in certain places, which, as Steve will attest, is not very fun.
No, yeah, you don't want chafing down under. That's not fun.
So they have what's called chamois butter. If you ignore the name, it's very effective anti-chafing cream. And it came out of cycling, oddly enough, but people use it for skiing. They use it for everything. Anywhere where you're wearing tight-fitting clothing. And it is, again, this is for her, male and female specific.
Yeah, and so this is basically something like Vaseline, but it's non-petroleum based. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, it washes off in the shower in seconds.
Washes off, and definitely if you are running or even swimming, doesn't really matter what you're doing. There's something called Glide. It's kind of a similar product that you would kind of glide on.
Same thing.
But it's in a stick form. This is a just a squeezed tube, and you just apply that. And I think I don't want to give it away, but
you're applying to areas you may not be wanting to use a stick.
Definitely. Rob is going to show you how to apply this. I don't know how much we're going to see of that, but show you how to apply this in one of our tips later this month.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on, we've got some more contact points. The next one, namely, is the hands. And so sometimes if I'm riding my bike for a long time and I've got my pressure on my hands, my hands will fall asleep and I'll get weird stuff happening. So can you tell me something like that might help with that?
There's two main things. Number one is your grip. These are a comfort grip. If you're going to be sitting all the time, this is fantastic because you get to rest your palms there. The problem with this is if you're a mountain biker is when you're mountain biking, you sit for some of the time and then you stand for some of the time. So these grips don't work fantastic because that ends up in your way. And then you just end up with a nice squishy pair of grips like this. That's just perfectly round. So it doesn't give you that little support, but you can change your position as you're riding and standing. And And then gloves. Mountain bike gloves are usually long fingered. They have silicone on the fingers, so you're not switching off your
more grippy.
Yeah. Well, you're not sliding off your brake lever if you're just wearing. People always want to wear woolen mittens, and it's really
no,
it's really
you don't.
And these also do not have seams where you're going to rub.
Okay.
They put the seams off in different places, and most of them are elastic. They fit really nice. And then if you're a road biker, generally you go with no finger one, but it's no reason other than it's because you need to be tactile to find your shifter.
Right.
Your shifter's not one for the finger, one for the thumb. They're really close.
All the gearing.
That makes it a lot easier to find your gearing.
Okay.
Yeah, for hands that's kind of.
And last thing we're going to talk about, there's one more contact point, and that is your feet. So if you've got a really kind of loose and floppy like shoe, you're going to not feel very comfortable on the bike. You're not only going to be like inefficient, but you're just going to feel like, if your pedals are kind of spiky, it's going to feel sore on your foot.
Well, a lot of that, it's the comfort. Like amazing people wear running shoes, which are great. They're all tactile and they're bendy and all that kind of stuff. Try to make you feel like you're running in bare feet, really.
Yeah.
But on a bike, what happens is when you step down on the pedal, your foot kind of sags around it, and it creates all sorts of different. Your foot's not meant to sit like that. If anything, it's meant to bend the other way. So when you're sitting like that, especially for a longer period of time, but what happens with the cycling shoes? It's very stiff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you power transfer, all sorts of stuff.
It's the opposite of a walking or a running shoe. You want something that is a lot more rigid, and it's not only for power transfer, because obviously you're going to be able to transfer better power from your legs into the pedal and make the bike move faster, but for comfort, your foot's not flopping around everywhere.
Yeah. These soles are actually designed by a rock climbing company, so they're very soft. You can actually dent them with your thumb down.
Right, and they've got some good
just
grip on it probably too. A lot of times the rubber is specifically made to be a bit more grippy.
Yeah,
is that
for
right?
sure. You get lots of people that are like, I just want to get some plastic pedals because I keep taking them in the shin.
Yeah.
My foot slips off. Well, this on a metal pedal, you just don't take it in the shin. It sticks a lot better. So.
Yeah, take it from Rob. I mean, I started mountain biking and I didn't want to invest in a pair of shoes at the time. I had kind of blown my budget on the bike, and I was on flat pedals, and they've got these little screws sticking up so your feet don't slip off. Man, my foot slipped off, and I got it in the shins a number of times, and let that be a lesson for me.
Yeah, and you get two little spikes right to your.
Yeah, that's not fun. So definitely, a pair of solid shoes that have good grip on them is a great investment.
And of course, a nice bigger pedal is always going to give you a nice, better platform.
Right.
Lots of bikes come with a small, we call them test ride pedals. They're $9 a pair, and they're designed to be replaced.
Right.
But lots of people buy them and then ride them for years, but that's not what it's for.
So even if you've got an old bike, these are some pretty simple upgrades that you can do to not make a huge investment, but definitely give you a lot more comfort while you're riding around.
One of the biggest things we see coming in the shop right now, especially every spring, is people want to get out and they want to get riding. And this spring, it's a little bit more than normal. People are bringing in 15, 20-year-old bikes that they spent a lot of money on. They haven't been on them in 8 years. They're still in really good condition. But, the rider is not in that good a shape anymore. So when they hop on the bike, it's really uncomfortable because we always make the joke, it's a perfect bike for the riding that you used to do.
Right.
And that's an issue. So you hop on the bike, you're not comfortable on it, it goes back in the garage. Most people see that as like a $700 or $800 problem because they think the solution is a new bike, but a really quick solution is actually just something like this. So what this does is this just, basically you pull your handlebars off your bike, you put this on, you put your handlebars back on, and it raises everything up 4 inches. And if you can imagine on a bike, having your handlebars up 4 inches, how much more upright that gets you. So it takes your old bike, which may be very good and nothing wrong with it, and allows you to ride it again, which is very nice.
So if someone is looking for that, what is that piece called?
It's called a stem riser.
Stem riser. So the stem is that piece that is right at the base of your handlebars and it goes up and down. And what Rob's talking about is like, if you haven't ridden a bike in a while, you kind of lose some of that flexibility, some of that mobility. And so if you're down in this position, your back is going to get sore pretty quick, and that's going to be uncomfortable. So this is going to help be a good solution for that problem. Is that correct?
Yeah, and an inexpensive solution compared to your neighbor telling you need a new bike because that one doesn't fit you anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so that is our tip for today. Quite a few tips, actually. Maybe I'll have to break these out into 3 separate tips. But take care, have a good May the 4th, and May the 4th be with you.
Thanks, guys.